Hello everyone and welcome to the third race of the Ravi Racing League. We'll be starting shortly in the qualifying session at China, uh, while we're also waiting still on 8 cylinders who will be joining later on. Let's have a quick look at the standings. General Pepe is still in first place, Anirudh in second, and Maranello Baby, who was new in the last race, in third position. He will be a guy to look at today. Let's have a look. Looks like I joined the session as a driver, so I'll have to back out and join again as a spectator. Sorry for everyone for the delay of the stream. It's still loading up. There we go. Let's go over to China. So the qualifying session is underway. Let's change some information on the screen so you got some more things to look at. Seems like a few people are already out on an outlap. For some reason it still shows I am in the game. Okay, let's go on board with False RU, who is the first one out on his outlap. Let's see how well this goes. Seems like a few people still in the pits. Freeman, also Mountain is still in the pits. Either 5's on or Vortex. Here we go, the first lap for False RU is gonna start. Now, started on the softs. See if he can get a nice run through turn 1 and 2. Bit wide but nice cutback. Gets a nice exit on turn 3. Oh, and he spins out just before getting to turn 4. Looks like he doesn't abort his lap. But it will definitely not be the best he will set in this session, hopefully. Nice run on the back straight. bit unfortunate from his spin. Otherwise I think this would have been a pretty okay lap. Looks like Maranello Baby is not joined the session, so other people get the chance to extend their lead. Also General Pepe is not in the session. And I thought I would have seen other people in the lobby as well. So it seems like KC is going to be able to advance in the standings and catch the leaders up a bit. Also, of course, Underwood, who is second on the leaderboard. Chris Bai is here as well, currently on the fastest lap, in provisional pole position. Let's go on board with Freeman, who is on a lap. Nice braking point, gets a good exit out of the hairpin. Let's see what his time will be. Oh, he just dives into the pits. Also an option, of course. Mountain is on his outlap, goes a bit wide on the last turn, and will start his fast lap now. So currently Chris Bai in first position with a 32.3. Vikram behind them with a 33.9, set on the mediums. The I am Ahmed. The Ayadamet. Pretty difficult name to pronounce. Also with on the mediums with a 34.1. Looks like a pretty good lap so far from Mountain. Purple sector, purple middle sector. So let's see how well he can get onto the back straight. Run could have been a little tighter, but definitely not bad. See the hairpin, nice braking point, gets a good exit as well. Let's see what his time will be when he crosses the line. And it is a 33.1, so ended up in second place, even though he set purple sector, purple middle sector. Could be due to a difference in setups, of course. Let's change to someone else's perspective. Let's go to Water Vortex, who just started this flying lap. I hope everyone is able to understand me well, otherwise I'm just talking to myself. Hello, 8 cylinders. Welcome to the stream. 132.3 from Chris By, 33.7 from Mountain, which was a purple middle sector, but unfortunately he lost some time somewhere else. Didn't really look like he had a bad lap or anything, just lost time, probably due to setups on the back straight, maybe running some higher wings than Chris By. Then 33.9 from Vikram was on the mediums, and times are going down from there. Is Chris By on? Is Chris By on a keyboard? Okay, I thought he was on a controller. I thought it was not so Masum who was keyboard and mouse. We will definitely ask him after. Seems like a lot of strong competitors in the league are not joining us today. General Peppa is not here. Also Maranello Baby is not here. Your audio is very loud?
No, it's very low. I can't hear myself. I can hear you pretty well though.
Oh, because I definitely do not have a problem. You're pretty loud for me. So,
On Discord, on the stream,
yeah.
I hear you pretty well, but they can't hear me.
It's yeah, sorry. It should be fine now. There's still some people who haven't set laps. One of them is 5zone, who we're on board with now.
Ninja Zero is not on a lap yet. The Renault boys haven't had a chance to go out.
Faizan getting very close to Ninja Zero, who's on his out lap. Hopefully doesn't block Faizan too much.
Yep, my audio is perfect on stream now. That's good. Yeah. All right. I was waiting to hear myself talking, and then I realized if I stop talking, then I won't hear myself talk.
Yeah, exactly. So Faizan.
Oh wow, that is just desperate message from Faizan there to get out of the way. Had to just put it on the grass there, heading into turn. Okay, so this is the fast right hand. There's a turn 5.
Seems like Faizan is actually aborting his lap, but his ERS is still in hot lap.
So yeah, at this point, I think if drivers want to recharge the ERS, the best strategy would just be to dive into the pits, recharge ERS, and then dive out. That's honestly just at this point, it's just not worth it to run an entire lap on it. I think he's actually going for the lap. He's actually going for the lap. Weird. Very, very weird. Freeman retires from the session. The McLaren retires from 6th place. Very interesting there.
Definitely could be the case that Faizan is coming into the pits now and fitting on other tires. We're going on board with Ninja Zero, who's setting a lap on the hards.
Yep, Faizan has dived into the pits now. Faizan's in the pits, probably going on a new set of softs and then getting out there with a full ERS, full battery. Oh, you're in the session. Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, what do you think of my first lap?
Oh yeah, I've got a very nice view of pit lane when I go to your option. Yeah, it's 17 drivers out there, not including Walter, obviously. There's an option in the lobby to just spectate. I think you didn't click on that. You just press ready up, and then it put you in. It hasn't given you a team though. What team are you? It hasn't given you a team.
For me, it looks like I'm in the Alfa
Red Bull
Romeo.
or something. Oh, are you? Okay. Let's see.
Ooh,
Oh,
and Ninja
the
Zero
Ferraris are
getting
way up
very
close.
wild on the exit of that turn. He might even be
But he's
avoiding his lap.
letting. It might even. I think it was just to let Vikram out of the way. There's a yellow flag, and Sector 1 as an Alfa Romeo is going very slowly. I think it's G Chroma. Yeah, G Chroma was struggling yesterday during practice session. He was struggling on because practice, there were two parts of it. The first half of practice, it was very wet and rainy conditions, and Anirudh and G Chroma were kind of the only guys setting laps on the intermediate tires. And then the session dried out, so the last 25 to 30 minutes were dry. And G Chroma, who was doing commendably well in the wet, started to really struggle in the dry conditions and started spinning out. So kind of a vice versa type, role reversal type situation there. Cooldock in the Haas yesterday was not comfortable in the wet, but he looked pretty good in the dry. He's sitting in 10th position right now. He's 2.5 seconds currently off the top places, but he did set his fastest lap on the hard tires. Oh no, he set his fastest lap on the supers. But now he's on the mediums.
Anirudh just set the fastest lap with a 32.0. I don't know what were the laps yesterday on the stream.
Yesterday during practice, I think the fastest lap was Anirudh. I think he said a 1:32.991. I think that was on his fast lap. He just did one lap on the softs and then went in and then did a stint on the soft tires. So
definitely flexing his muscles today. With a 32.0.
Yeah, in the absence of our championship leaders, who are IRC General Pepe and Maranello Baby, I think Anirudh will look to claw back the points this race weekend. It's the best chance he's going to have when arguably I'd say the only other two drivers on his level are not here.
It looks like
it'll be a chance for
Ninja Zero might not be able to set a lap as he crashes into the wall in the same turn again as where he lost it last lap. Looks like he has a lot of problems with oversteer out of that corner. Might be putting the power a bit down a bit early.
I believe Casey has started. Oh no, Casey's still in his out lap. Oh, he may not have a chance to finish his lap here. He may not have a chance to finish a qualifying lap at all, and he's on the soft tires. Come on, Casey. Gotta move on, son. He's not. He's still going in sector 1, and we have a minute and 15 seconds on the clock. He really needs to get a move on here if he wants to get it for lap in, and he's one of the championship leaders. He's in second or third place. I didn't see the standings earlier. I didn't check it after.
He's in fourth place.
Oh, he's in fourth.
Yes.
So he's definitely up there in terms of the championship. So he needs to get a move on. He's only got a minute left, and he's heading through sector 2, heading into sector 3 soon.
No,
excuse me.
In sector 3. Casey's in fifth.
Yep.
And he's
Casey's in fifth.
Yes. Chris Bai is in fourth. Anirudh is in second, and then the leader, General Pepe, and the guy in third place, Maranello Baby, are both absent from this session.
Right. Oh, okay. I got so confused. I thought you were talking about the qualifying standings, and then I realized you're talking about the championship standings.
The championship standings, of course.
I was wondering where is Maranello Baby in the race, and then I was wondering. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. But Casey has got 12 seconds on the clock here. Can he get a flying lap? I think he should be in with a good chance of getting across the line here. He's used a little bit of VRS just to get to the starting line. 3 seconds on the clock. Casey has gone his flying lap now. Oh wow. Cutting it close there, but qualifying is over. A number of drivers have finalized their positions. Oh, Cooldock. Oh, Casey has run wide. Casey's run wide because the Cooldock was parked right on the apex here, and Casey has to abandon his flying lap. Oh no. Casey's dropped down to 17th after Vortex improves his time on the medium tires. Streeter finishes in 14th. I think he's on a fast lap as well. Yeah, Streeter's on the fast lap on the back straight, but he's on the medium tires, so I don't really expect him to improve much further. But something to keep an eye on. Both the Williams finish in 12th and 13th. I was talking to them earlier. They were expressing their interest in trying to get into the points. So it should be an interesting race from them. They'll try to keep it very conservative. Faizan, the other Mercedes, finishes 11th. Both Mercedes underperforming in qualifying, but then really turned it up in the race. But last time out in Canada, Faizan didn't have a very good race, but Vortex had a pretty good race. He finished in 4th place overall. And that is the end of qualifying. Very, very interesting results here. Anirudh pretty much got a clean run into turn 1 after that qualifying. Unbelievable. Brilliant qualifying performance there from Anirudh, getting into the low 1 minute 32s. But, oh, Scary Pumpkin is on pole. I never noticed.
In with a 31.8, only 0.06 of a second in front
And
of
of course,
Anirudh.
the one who will be behind everyone going into turn 1, Walter, who's not currently set a time, no time set. Oh, and Dylan, who qualified in 13th, has a 10-place grid penalty. Oh,
So he had
joy of
2
joys.
incidents. He had a 5-second penalty for running into the back of someone. So
Oh yeah, that was into the hairpin. Oh yeah, I know when that happened. He crashed into the Ferrari of Iyad Ahmed, who wasn't. It was who's currently, I don't know where he finished, Ahmed, but I think he was in the top 10 somewhere. So both Ferraris in a good position going into the race in terms of qualifying at least. But that's our qualifying session, boys. Hopefully you guys are loving the stream so far. The race should be hectic because China turn 1 has the tendency to catch out absolutely everyone. We could see even KC struggled on the only push lap that he did in the end. So
looks like I'm not on the grid anymore because I would never have gotten any good laps compared. Well, I would never been able to set a lap in like Streeter or Anirudh. Game has finally decided to kick me out for being too slow.
If that's the case, then F1 should be kicking out Williams for being too slow, but then that's not how it works, does it?
Well, let's hope they can bring the heat in 2021 season.
We should have a formation lap. Yes, we do. I think last time around in Canada, some of the drivers couldn't get off on their formation lap, and the drivers behind them just almost went into the back of them. I think both Williams were caught out by that. I was watching this stream. And Scary Pumpkin, who qualified first, has spun going into turn 1 on the formation lap and drops down. Well, I don't think he'll drop down. I think he will eventually reform at the beginning. But still, Kay was telling me earlier as well how he has really good qualifying pace, but Scary Pumpkin lacks the race pace. One lap pace is important and all, but you only get good one lap pace if you've got a good understanding of the track, and you can't get a good understanding of the track and not have good race pace. So it's an interesting situation with Scary Pumpkin. He's got brilliant qualifying pace, but he just can't translate that to race pace. So he'll have to keep an eye on
consistency. It's all about consistency. We've seen it in Canada as well, with a bunch of people just spinning later into the race. Consistency is key. Being fast is one thing, but you gotta be consistent enough. Especially if you're driving against someone like Anirudh. Anirudh might not be as fast on some tracks like Maranello Baby or General Pepe, but he's very consistent. He will rarely spin out. He of course has a lot of hours into this game, which helps. Yeah,
He's also on a wheel, which helps.
Which helps
massively
as well.
In terms of controlling oversteer. I know firsthand.
Definitely. Also, just braking in general, getting the power down. Of course, people with controllers can be very good as well, but it's a bit harder to be as consistent.
I think Vortex is on a controller, but he's one of the few people that's complained regularly about not being able to be smooth with the controller, which I can understand because for a long time, controller is very arcadey. It's suited for arcadey racing games, but it goes from opposite lock to opposite lock very quickly on a controller. So you have to kind of find a way to rotate through the entire arc of rotation with a controller. As the grid reforms here, a hectic reformation of the grid, all of them lining up on one side of the track.
It looks like I'm still in the race, but controlled by an AI on the 17th spot.
I think you should go ahead and retire right away there if you have the option to.
I don't have the option, I think.
Are you in the
I
spectator
don't.
menu?
Yes, I'm in the. I joined as a spectator.
Oh, all right, all right, all right, all right. But you're in the race. So Walter, you'll be picking up points. Wonderful. As we get off our race start here, very slow start there from Scary Pumpkin as Anirudh immediately takes the lead into turn one. Scary Pumpkin right on his diffuser though, may have picked up some wing damage there after going into the rear of his car. The second Force India of Streeter in second place, followed by the McLaren of Mountain and the Ferrari of Vikram. Chris Bai, who was one of the fastest drivers in Canada, is now leading into sixth place. Iyad Ahmed, one of the drivers who we see very little of, is into seventh place in the second Ferrari, and the second McLaren of Freeman is currently overtaken by the Toro Rosso of Melting Ace. As Vikram goes on the defensive here on the first lap from Scary Pumpkin. Very, very close racing between our pole sitter and the one in second place. But this will be an interesting battle going into the long DRS back straight. Of course, they won't have DRS on the opening lap, but Scary Pumpkin falling back here as Vikram opens up a nearly 1 second lead on the two Force Indias. I shouldn't call them Force Indias, but you know, they're racing points. The Mountain, one of the drivers who recently joined into RRL, is in sixth place, drops down to sixth after Chris Bai. Mountain impressive overtake going into the braking point.
Vikram getting into third place, and Chris Bai is off.
Oh, Chris Bai spins! Chris Bai spins, he's into the wall. Chris Bai, is that him retired from the race? I think we do have reduced damage, so it might not be a retirement, but he drops to the back of the grid as Mountain overtake on the second Force India here of Scary Pumpkin, who has dropped to fourth place after getting a very poor start, fifth place actually after dropping behind Vikram, and he might be on the attack here from Iyad Ahmed in the second Ferrari. Vikram runs very wide, and a little bit of aero comes off on the last corner from one of the cars. I believe it was the Force India, but I'm not entirely sure. And that is lap one of the Chinese Grand Prix. A very hectic start for the Force Indias. Streeter managing to make up a lot of positions, starting
Scary
from fifth
Pumpkin
or
running
sixth.
wide. He ran wide on turn one.
Oh, and Scary Pumpkin has spun around, and he has to reset himself to the track, and he drops to 13th place. Scary Pumpkin literally jinxing himself before the race by saying that he has very good race pace and then not able to translate that as, I believe the Williams has crashed as well. Yes, one of the Williams has crashed into no one. IRC General Pepe joins the session at the last minute and is crashed into by one of the Williams. The Williams of false RU18. No front wing on the right-hand side for no one, who has to dive into the pits now. He is already on the hard tires, so he'll have to adjust his strategy accordingly. Whether he will go on the medium tires or decide to attack full on in the first 10 to 15 laps on the soft tires, we will have to wait and see. Both Williams getting off to a terrible start. Dylan already had a grid place penalty, so he started from 19th or 18th, and he's made up a position. He's in 17th now. No one, who started last on the grid, I believe, tried to make up positions, but got tangled up with the Williams at false RU and is now in 18th position, but will lose more positions as he dives into the pits at the end of this lap. Ninja Zero, who didn't manage to get in a very good qualifying performance, is now up to 14th place, but Scary Pumpkin, probably our most disappointing car of the first two laps here, starting on pole, currently finds himself in the unlucky spot of number 13. Casey managed to make up some spots, mounting an overtake here, as we have a safety car. Safety car as we go into lap number 3. We have a safety car coming out here. I believe this is for, it might be actually for might be for
it came
one
out
of the cars currently
for
in the first
Scary
sector.
Pumpkin. It came out for Scary Pumpkin after he spun.
No, I believe there's a car currently stuck going into sector 2 just after turn 3. I'm not exactly sure who it is. I'm going to ride on board here with Iyad Ahmed, who inherits the lead of the race. Let's see who is. Oh wait, no, that is the safety car. I am retarded. That is the safety car. That is not a retired car. I was wondering what car that was. It was a different color to every other car on the grid. It's the safety car. Iyad Ahmed, who started. Not sure exactly where he started. Let's see if I can enable that on the telemetry here. I'll do fastest lap, leader, interval. So I don't have positions gained, unfortunately, but we'll have leader set up here right now and hide all the UIs and whatnot. So
looks like Walter also has a very nice race so far, coming from 16th on the grid and he's into 8th place.
AI Walter has cut his grid position in half by going from 16th to 8th position. Will it be funny if your AI manages to finish on the podium outside the champion? That would be interesting to see.
Walterbot.
Walterbot OP is what it should be called. Walterbot OP currently sitting in 8th place. Oh, now up to 6th position. Walterbot gaining insane positions into the safety car period here. Ninja Zero also starting on the medium tires has headed himself up into 5th place. Vortex makes up good positions as well, going into 4th place. Maranello Baby has joined the session as well. This will be annoying for Anirudh.
It looks like. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a full grid. Well, except you, we have 19 drivers on the grid. I'm not sure who the one driver is that we don't have. I'm trying to go through the grid and see which of our drivers we don't have. We have both the Alfa Romeos, we have both the Mercedes, both the Renaults are here as well, both the Williams are here, both the Force Indias are here. I'm trying to find out which car we don't have. Yes, Ocean Chief. Ocean Chief is not here. He should be here in your position, Walter. You have taken his seat.
Well, I hope I didn't take his place.
I didn't think about that to watch the race. As IRC Freeman picked up a 5-second penalty, picked up a 5-second time penalty for cutting the track or exceeding track limits. I'm not sure exactly what happened there.
Vikram also got a 5-second penalty for ignoring the yellow flags under the safety car. So maybe he just overtook.
I'm just checking out the race director here, and we have 4 5-second penalties for Ninja Zero, Cool Doc, Vikram, and IRC. Vikram for a severe collision with G Chroma, IRC Freeman for exceeding track limits, Cool Doc and Ninja Zero for ignoring yellow flags.
2 more penalties.
Very interesting penalties.
Scary Pumpkin and False Are both also for severe collisions under the safety car.
I believe also that False Are may have lost elements of his front wing. Yep, he's lost his end plate. False Are in the Williams having another dreadful race. I say another because, well, the Williams have never really been the fastest cars on the grid in the first couple of races of our season here. But, you know, they've been trying desperately to get into the points. And I think right now, Dylan has the best chance of that. He's currently sitting in 6th place on the medium tire. I think all the drivers who started on the medium tires are currently the race leaders. Faizan and Vortex here in a 1-3 for Mercedes. If they can keep that position, it'll be very beneficial for them. But Faizan does
yeah, Streeter also getting a 5-second penalty for a collision with Mountain. Looks like our third place in the standings is in 2nd place now. Maranello Baby from way on the back of the grid because he didn't take part in the qualifying session. Now in 2nd place.
Just shows you how penalties and incidents and whatnot can majorly affect the results of a race. As the safety car is coming in this lap, Faizan will get us restarted here. I'm going to go on board with Maranello Baby because it will probably be his responsibility to inherit the lead of this race as soon as possible. As Faizan has still not started yet. They have to pass the safety car timing line as the safety car comes around the hairpin. Faizan almost raring to go here. Currently, he's in 0 ERS mode. So maybe he should think about slotting that up into overtake and getting a good air gap between himself and Maranello Baby. But Faizan has to be most careful here because as Faizan goes, Faizan is going, he is on 0 ERS, now he's up to 3 ERS, as Maranello Baby has a clean run on Faizan into turn 1, but I don't think he'll go for that, as Vortex right behind them, probably using his predatory instincts to try and get into the top position. If these two guys scrap it out and end up crashing into each other, that could possibly happen.
Beautiful racing between these guys.
Faizan and Maranello Baby keeping it very, very clean. It's Maranello, it goes down the inside into turn 4. This is brilliant racing here from Maranello Baby and Faizan, who are keeping it very clean, but also pushing each other, getting their elbows out. Oh, as Faizan loses pace going into turn 6, I believe, or turn 5. Oh,
Maranello taking the outside, going around the outside of Faizan.
Maranello taking the lead of the race from the Mercedes of Faizan. But Faizan and Vortex can be very happy because they've got themselves into prime positions to pick up points, not only in the Constructors, but also in the Drivers' Championship here. As there's a yellow flag in Sector 2, what seems to be happening here? G Chroma has spun. That could bring out another safety car. Oh, no, it's not major enough for us to bring out a safety car, but G Chroma will have to pit, maybe for new tires, maybe for a new front wing. As Maranello Baby already pulls out a 1.5 second lead ahead of Faizan, really going for it. He is in ERS mode 4, going into ERS mode 0 into the hairpin to yield the maximum ERS energy harvesting as Faizan is currently battling with his teammate. Vortex, could both the Mercedes get tangled up here? If they get tangled up, it'll be a disappointing result for both of them, but they keep it clean through the final corner. Ninja Zero slowly making their way up on the two Mercedes cars. It could be a Renault 1-2 if this continues as it is, because both the Mercedes are getting wheel to wheel going into turn 1. Very interesting racing here as there's a yellow flag in sector 3 as someone crashes into the pit lane. What is going on here? I think Streeter has crashed into the pit lane wall. He has on pit exit, on pit entry. How very, very weird. How
Still very close racing between War Vortex and Fivezan. War Vortex on the hards, being able to overtake Fivezan, even though it takes a lot more time to get them to work after a safety car. Seems like Fivezan is losing places and now is falling into the clutches of Ninja Zero, who's right behind him. There's also a close battle between Dylan, who's in 6th place still, and Mountain, who's very close. So it will be interesting to see if Mountain is able to overtake Dylan on the back straight. So let's see. The DRS is opening now. Gaining a lot of time on the braking. Maranello Baby setting the fastest lap of the race with a 35.9. Dylan making a small mistake on the last corner, which makes him vulnerable on the start. Maybe into T1. Mountain is not going for a move. Is going for a move in turn 2 and 3. Bit of contact between the two of them. Dylan being able to secure his position for now. Looks like General Pepe is going through the field. He's already in 12th place so far. 11th place now, just overtook Scary Pumpkin. And Ninja Zero overtook Faizan in the meantime. Faizan now under attack from Anirudh. On the back straight. Having the DRS. Not able to close in on Faizan a lot. Was thinking of going to the inside, but then decided to not go for it as he was a bit too far back to make a move. Faizan overtook Ninja Zero again. And all this battling ensures that War Vortex is able to pull away. He's now 3.5 seconds ahead of Faizan, but still 8 seconds behind Maranello Baby. Will be interesting to see how...
So I think I disconnected there. I was talking, but
yes.
I got no reply and I couldn't hear myself on stream either, so it's probably my end. My bad on that. I was talking about the battle between Dylan and Taron at Mountain, but he's obviously dropped back a bit now due to an incident that I didn't really see. But Anirudh seems to be on the attack here, just within a couple of tenths of Ninja Zero.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing from Maranello Baby as in Canada. He's just pulling away from everyone. Already almost 9 seconds ahead. And Anirudh overtaking Ninja Zero. just before the back straight.
Very, very, very good overtake there. Anirudh will get DRS. If DRS is enabled on this lap, Anirudh will get DRS, but will Ninja Zero get DRS? I think Ninja Zero will get DRS.
It's very close. Ninja Zero going to the inside.
Oh, Ninja Zero will be up the inside here. Very clean racing, trying to keep it clean anyway, but he pushed Anirudh on the outside there. But Anirudh still keeps his track position. Very, very interesting racing there.
We get some more information on the screen. So apparently, okay, now it's fixed. It was showing on the telemetry that Ninja Zero was going full throttle and braking full at the same time.
F1 telemetry letting us down here. I believe one of the glitches with the telemetry is the DRS glitch, where it shows that the driver has DRS, but he hasn't opened it. And apparently the DRS is open, some of these drivers, but they're obviously not seeing in the telemetry. Another one is the RPM glitch,
Yes.
where all the drivers are at full engine RPM all the time. That's another glitch. So Codemasters have stuff to sort out for F1 2020. It's not just about putting cars in them. By the way, if you are an Indian viewer and you are watching the stream right now, F1 2020, you have a loyalty bonus if you have F1 2019, and it's only 1,500 rupees. So very, very cheap. We're having a lot better than some other countries out there. I think, Walter, you can testify, as no one makes his way up into the top 5 here. But it's very expensive, F1 2020 outside India. It's like
50 bucks.
50 euro? 60 euros. Wow. Insanely expensive. We're having it good here, guys. Indian boys, pick up F1 2020 on discount. Maybe help Walter out.
Oh, and Faizan spins. Taken out by no one.
Oh, that is well, race control will have something to say about that. Stewards will have some work to do later on. I do speak about myself because I am one of the stewards for RRL, but I didn't really get a good view of that incident there on the stream. But hopefully Faizan is recording. Don't think he was though, but we'll see some footage of the stream.
I think he definitely will.
Oh, that's Faizan goes right to the back of Chris Bye. Both of them spin. Oh, all of both of them recover well. Chris Bye getting caught up in an incident with Faizan. Very hectic start to this race right here. And I'm just thinking here, if our race, obviously this idea was pitched by some of the drivers on RRL, but we're seeing this much change in the driver grid order in a 28 lap race, which is 50%. What kind of unpredictability could we see in a 100% race is my question to you, Walter, and to everyone on the stream as well. A 100% full race weekend format with practice on Friday, qualifying Q1, Q2, Q3 style on Saturday, and a race on Sunday, which could be a 100% race. But of course, the idea is currently being pitched. It's in its infancy in terms of conceptualization of the idea, but obviously it could be very interesting because Scary Pumpkin on the attack against Faizan, who's struggling with a bad front wing, and Scary Pumpkin slips into 13th place here. He seems to be finding himself 13th place very, very often in this race. He has once again in 13th place. G Chroma is his next target now, ahead of him, 2 seconds off the pace. But Walter, what are your thoughts about a full race weekend in terms of the full official weekend structure?
Yeah, I think it will be very interesting, as especially as we've seen in Canada. The safety car likes to come out very much, especially if someone spins. There might not be happening much, but the safety car will still come out. It's very unpredictable what happens when the pack gets bunched up, as we've seen already today as well. A lot more changes to the positions of everyone might occur if more and more safety cars come out. Obviously it will be more likely in a full race compared to the 50%.
I mean, we've already
races.
had two sort of almost safety car incidents and one safety car already, so we could maybe see another 2 or 3. This lap, as in this circuit, Shanghai International, is a very complex circuit. But once you get it right, it's very satisfying to race on. Something I've discovered in past years. I've always had sort of a negative predisposition towards Shanghai.
Melting
I
Ace
think.
into the wall together with
Ooh, Melting
Dylan.
Ace. Oh, no, no, no. The Williams once again getting tangled up.
And
Both the
Melting
Williams
Ace
drivers and
spinning.
Oh, and both Melting. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing it right now, actually. I thought I was seeing a different incident with Melting Ace. And, oh, the Williams. Oh, again. Oh, no, the Williams is actually. Oh, is it? Are we looking at a different Williams? Oh, it might be, actually. The Williams are false RU18. Yep.
I was talking about Dylan, yes. It seems like Melting Ace didn't give Dylan a lot of space, and Dylan ended up touching the rear tire from Melting Ace, which gave him nowhere to steer to, as he just slided into the wall together with Dylan. Eventually they got untangled, and Melting Ace just lost the rear and ran into the wall just when he passed the entry of the pit lane. So he will have to carry on with the broken front wing for another lap.
That is bad for the Williams driver and bad for the other driver who was involved in that incident. But
it looks
Williams,
like General Pepe has disconnected from the session, as Ninja Zero just blazes past.
No one, aka IRC General Pepe, really should think about getting his name changed back to General Pepe. No one is very confusing. Just Ninja Zero completely blazes through him. And False RU gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I believe he's cutting some corners, cutting them up.
Casey getting tangled with Scary Pumpkin. Scary Pumpkin just goes into the gravel as he didn't get the car rotated enough, and Casey just touched the rear.
As a Toro Rosso goes into the pits, I believe that is Melting Ace diving into the pits here. Let's see how his race works out. Obviously, Anirudh will be the contender for Toro Rosso to win the race today, but Melting Ace has on many occasions showed that he has the pace to get up there into the points and maybe up into top 5, top 6, and really solidify Toro Rosso's position as he has to serve a 5-second penalty in the pit here. He goes on to the medium tires, replacement front wing, drops down to 16th position, and he's out of the pits there.
We have to report, sadly enough, that Walter OP has been lapped by Maranello Baby after being 8th in the standings after the safety car.
He was 6th briefly in the standings after the safety car, but obviously
yes, exactly.
Walter Bot OP is not having the best of races. Cool Dog also not having the best of races. That's actually a driver driving, not a bot, but he finds himself at 20th place, a lap behind the rest of the field, slightly behind Walter Bot. Cool Dog not having a very nice race at all today. I think this will be one to forget for him, unless some really drastic things happen and he does pick up the pace towards the latter part of the race, as we do pass the 50% point here in the race, 14 laps in out of 28. Major reshuffling to the order that we saw at the beginning of the race. Our race leader, who qualified on pole, is currently sitting in 11th. Anirudh, who qualified in 2nd, is probably the only driver who managed to keep his consistency going into lap 14. He's currently in 2nd place, but that's probably because he optimized the safety car and got onto the medium tires. Vortex also optimizing the safety car, optimizing the pace on the hard tires, getting past his teammate first, and has stormed into the lead of this race after Maranello Baby pitted to go onto the hard tires. But that'll basically be the last pit stop for Maranello. That's it. That's him on the hards until the end of the race, most probably. So he will try to maximize his pace on these tires, which means Anirudh, who has tires which I think should be at least 5 to 6 laps old now, is going to have to last on the medium tires for another 14 laps, and I don't think that's possible. And I think he'll have to pit for hard tires either now or a couple of laps from now in order to stay in contention for the podium. Very interesting developments here.
Looks like Cooldock was able to overtake Walter OP now.
Walter Bot is into the pits. He'll find himself not only one lap behind, but one lap and a pit stop behind everyone else. I think Walter Bot OP might actually be retiring from the... No, he's just going in for a pit stop. Walter Bot OP goes on to the medium tire. And gets his front wing replaced. Very nice. Oh, your helmet is the Belgian flag. Very
yes. Cool. Well, that would have probably been the problem, that his front wing was not in good shape anymore, opting to stay out instead of changing it.
Walter Bot OP is now going into hammer time, looking to get himself into the podium from last on the grid. It's entirely possible. I think he's getting lapped here by KC. Yes, he has just been lapped by KC. The chances of Walter Bot OP getting into the top.
It looks like it's very close between Vikram, Chroma, and Ninja Zero.
Oh yes, all of them separate each other by just a second or within a second. So it'll be interesting going into the DRS zone. Oh, and there's also another car in the mix there. I think Streeter is also on the back of the Renault. 4-car train here. I'm going to ride on board with Ninja Zero. He seems to be one closest to the action between G Chroma in the Alfa Romeo and Vikram in the Ferrari. Vikram's going to have to be very careful going into Sector 3 here. Any mistakes and he could find himself within DRS attack zone of the Alfa Romeo and maybe even the Renault if he does get a poor exit out of this corner here, the long right-hander leading onto the back straight. Very, very interesting to see, but I think G Chroma will have DRS. Ninja Zero will have DRS from G Chroma, and Streeter touching tires with Ninja Zero. He will have DRS on Ninja Zero. A 4-car DRS train heading into the final hairpin as G Chroma makes a move on the outside of Vikram. This will be a bold one.
Vikram going to the inside, going for the switchback.
Good defending, but G Chroma gets the switchback and a much better exit, and the position is his. But Vikram, it's not done for him yet. He's now under attack from Streeter, who managed to get Ninja Zero on the back straight.
Streeter runs into the back. Streeter runs into the back of Vikram.
I had a clear view of that incident, and as a steward, we will have to look at this later. I will have a look at the stream later on. Virtual safety car comes out. It may even become a full safety car, but because the Vikram is not directly on the racetrack and he's not on the racing line, it won't be a full safety car. Virtual safety cars, lowered lap deltas. Scary Pumpkin picks up a penalty, and the safety car period is over. That's it. Safety car period is over. How weird.
Streeter and Ninja Zero fighting instantly again. Of course, Streeter has front wing damage, so Ninja Zero is just able to run away from him.
Did you have an onboard view of Streeter as he got involved with Vikram?
Yes.
What exactly happened?
Vikram lost the rear end on the last corner and tried to stabilize, and Streeter didn't really know where he was going, and unfortunately just went into the back of him. I don't think Streeter did that deliberately, or he just didn't know what to do.
After the last corner, you really have no place to go. As Prophet 133, who isn't in the race currently, but he was spectating and he has now left the session. But that is Walter Bot not in last place anymore due to Vikram's crash. He is now in 19th position, slowly making his way as Streeter dives into the pits for what will hopefully be a pit stop onto the hard tires, because he's been on the mediums. I think he started on the soft tires, so he has only hard compound left.
And Dylan is overtaking General Pepe. There we go, Dylan getting the move done on ghosting General Pepe.
The Williams is up into the top 10, but he is not that far ahead of Faizan, who will get the inside line. Going into turn 2, and Faizan spins around. Faizan spins around, knocks wheels with the Williams, and Faizan is around it. Oh! Dangerous merge back onto the truck there. He may get a penalty for dangerous driving there as he
joins the track in a very, very aggressive manner, nearly putting Melting Ace into the wall there. Faizan spins around and is now clashing wheels with the Haas of Chris Bai. Faizan not having a very good race at all. He was very aggressive into the overtake going into turn 2 and 3, but clashing wheels obviously has had a karma, in the words of Fernando Alonso. Karma has struck, and Faizan finds himself down in 15th place after briefly getting embroiled in a battle with Dylan. Starts with D in the Williams. Mountain in the McLaren making up good positions. He's in 9th place. He has a good chance of making it into the top 5 or 6 if he continues this pace, because the drivers ahead of him are clearly very, very aggressive and want to get the position sorted out. As I think Ninja's here. Oh, Scary Pumpkin is into the wall going into the pit lane. A lot of drivers are encountering this issue where they are too hot into the pit lane and end up driving into the wall. Interesting, interesting, interesting.
Looks like War Vortex was able to take the position on Freeman, who is still on the hard tires and has to pit, as he has 15 lap old tires. But again, Maranello Baby, 22 seconds ahead of War Vortex, already pitted. This guy is out of this league. He's on another level. It seems like we have lost 8 cylinders again. He will be joining back shortly. In the meantime...
God, my Wi-Fi is dreadful.
In the meantime, we'll be riding on board with Scary Pumpkin, who is getting closer to False RU.
Ooh, both of Force Indias are now in 15th and 17th. They've had an absolutely dreadful race. They both started in the top 10. Now find themselves outside the top 10. Well outside the top 10, actually. So that'll be... Oh, big snap of oversteer from Scary Pumpkin there. Going into the tiny back straight. Heading into tight left-hander and then the long right-hander onto the back straight.
And Anirudh
he may have an overtaking chance here.
Anirudh is fighting with Freeman very hard. Went for the inside on turn 4, I believe.
Did Anirudh pit for new tires?
He did. Freeman is on 16 lap old hards, while Anirudh is on 2 lap old mediums.
The overtake done and dusted. Yeah, that will be Anirudh's tire of choice for the rest of this race. He will look to make up time on Vortex. He's only a couple of seconds ahead on very old, well, not very old mediums. Let's check out how old his tires are. His tires are 2 laps old as well. So we'll have to see how this goes.
Melting Ace going for the inside on turn 4 on Dylan. Unfortunately, there was not really a gap, and he just went for it while Dylan closed the door. Rightfully so, as Melting Ace was too far back to make the move. Melting Ace ended up spinning a bit and dropped another place.
I guess everyone in RRL used the methodology of Daniel Ricciardo. Just lick the stamp and send it whenever you get the chance. And
Exactly.
Obviously didn't work out for Melting Ace on that occasion.
Melting Ace now outside of the points, which promotes Chris Bai into 10th place, who is now in the points and will be closing on Dylan. Chris Bai not having the most fortunate race, being tangled in a bunch of incidents. Of course, this will be sorted out later on by the stewards.
Just checking on the stream. Stream is going good. Our peak viewers was 7. We're now on 3.
Well, the race has sort of settled down a bit.
Yeah,
everyone is spaced out.
First lap carnage. I guess we'll have the rest of our viewers back towards the end of this race when we see maybe some last lap carnage. But right now, our DNFs is just one, Vikram, who very unfortunately we lost a couple of laps earlier, as there's a big battle here between Chris Bai and Dylan may have to concede the position here. Oh, Chris By goes very deep into the hairpin. Oh, is that the hairpin? No, the first sector hairpin.
And he falls under attack from Melting Ace, who's right behind him as well. Going for moves is going to be very scary, as he might be able to lose a place instead of just losing time to Dylan.
Sector 1, I'm not entirely sure who was involved in an incident there. They almost got 3 wide. Melting Ace being pushed onto the grass here. Now heading onto the back straight as Chris By may get spun out here, and the Williams has spun out and has crashed into the Toro Rosso of Melting Ace. Not all of them do not spin, they're all still going, but very, very close to being very bad for Toro Rosso and the Williams there. These guys, man, they overtake with their heart on their sleeves. They really do. They're putting everything on the line here. But Chris By, the beneficiary from all of that carnage as he heads into 9th position. Very, very slick move from him. Melting Ace with front wing damage. And
Dylan as well.
Yeah.
Melting Ace just continuing.
Dylan goes right over the camera. That's very scary. Into the last corner. He drove right over the camera on the curb. Was not expecting that. They just saw his time, then his whole car drives over it. As Chris By gets a 5-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Oh, wow. I think he may have his pit assist off. One of the guys running with full realism there, contrary to the fact that he uses a keyboard. Well, we'll confirm it later whether he uses a keyboard and mouse, but I think he does use a keyboard and mouse. That also might be not so soon. So we will confirm for you later on the stream whether that is Chris By. We had a discussion on this a couple of weeks ago on RRL. Everybody was like, oh, you have 6 hands, mate. How many hands are you going to use to drive? And he was like, 1 hand on keyboard, other hand on mouse. Simple. And everybody was laughing at him. Not laughing at him, but laughing with him, rather. Laughing at him would be the wrong phrase. Streeter is currently in 11th position. He seems to be the racing point / Force India with the best chance at points if he can get something done on Dylan here. As he has to go wide, he goes very wide. Very, very wide. He may have to concede the position to Faizan. Oh, Faizan is spun around again. Oh, Faizan spun around with Streeter again.
Yes.
Going wheel to wheel with Streeter. Streeter himself reeling from an incident with Dylan. Not really an incident, but he ran wide trying to overtake Dylan. But he went wide and then had to rejoin, and Faizan was right there trying to mount and overtake. They clashed wheels, and Faizan obviously in 12th place, but I think that is just a racing incident. Nothing more can be made of that. Rejoin back onto the track by Streeter was fairly clean. He didn't intrude on Faizan. He didn't have to let him slow down or anything. Faizan was in the optimum position for the overtake, and they just clashed wheels. So I think that we can just rule that off as a racing incident on lap 22 here.
It's a very interesting choice from both Dylan and Melting Ace to continue while having front wing damage. Of course, it's only 5 laps left to go.
I think at this point, they've just decided to run with whatever they have left. A little bit of downforce loss into each corner, but apart from that, on the straights, China is fairly low aero anyway, so...
The thing is, Chris By decided to pit while he was past both of them.
Chris By making some questionable tyre strategy choices as he finds himself in 17th place. Not far, quite far ahead of his teammate here. Very, very questionable strategy choice as Melting Ace picks up a 3-second time penalty. And I think we're starting to have blue flags now as the back marker drivers do have to start worrying about the faster cars coming through, which may impact their race. So I'm going to go on board with Anirudh here because he seems to have the best chance of overtaking Vortex here. 3 seconds splits them, obviously, if Anirudh can keep up the pace. And if Vortex makes any mistakes, then obviously Anirudh will have a chance of getting at 3rd place. With Vortex here, setting Mercedes up for a good 2nd place finish. But once again, Maranello Baby completely pulling away. 24 seconds clear Maranello Baby from the leader. That is absolutely insane.
He's already lapped everyone until 13th place.
He's currently on the diffuser of Faizan in terms of blue flags, and Faizan will have to concede the position. Maranello Baby in the number 49 Renault doing Enstone proud. Cyril Abiteboul on the pit wall, probably loving the drive here from Maranello Baby. Very consistent, very clean. He started what, P20th, P20, P19, somewhere like that.
Yeah, at the
Obviously
back of the
started
grid.
behind Walterbot, and he's currently in first. So that goes to show, boys, that you can start anywhere on the grid and finish on podium or finish in first place as long as you have good race pace, consistent. Overtaking on the blue flags here on Faizan. That compromises Faizan's line, obviously, because when you have another car kind of in your position, kind of makes it hard to focus on the racing line. I've always had that issue. Obviously, it doesn't matter too much if you don't race with the racing line. Maranello Baby currently nearly 25 seconds clear of Vortex in second place, but my eyes are right now on Anirudh. Maybe he can get something done on Vortex.
In the meanwhile, Streeter has been able to get into 10th place, overtaking Dylan in the process. Also,
Yep.
KC66 is closing in on Freeman, and they both have 21 lap old hards. These tires must be screaming at this point.
G Chroma is nearly 13 seconds behind KC, but if those hard compact tires fall off towards the end of the race, he could close up that gap very, very quickly at the rate of 3-4 seconds a lap. He could be right on KC's tail, G Chroma. But he's also on the hard tires, he's not really on the softs, and he's not really on new tires, so it'll be interesting to see.
Casey getting a nice exit on the last corner before the back straight. He has DRS now. Will he be able to go for a move into the hairpin? I think so. He's going to the inside, braking very late, locking up a bit, and he has overtaken Freeman
for fourth place. But he will have the outside line going into the final corner. Casey going very defensive, good defensive work there, running a bit on the exit, but it's fine because track limits allow you to go a bit wide there anyway.
Freeman coming back into turn 1. Is he going for it? No, he's just backing out.
No. It's not a good idea to go taking into turn 1 unless you're considerably close to your opponent. But he will look to have an opportunity, maybe on the back straight. I think that will be his next big opportunity to overtake Casey. But I'm focusing more on the battle here between Iyad, Chris By, and Scary Pumpkin, who are all within 1 second of each other. And they're all within just a couple of seconds, they're all within a couple of tenths of false RU as well. So 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and maybe 17th place are still up for grabs for anyone who's willing to put themselves on the line, as Iyad Ahmed has to defend vigorously here.
Chris By going on the grass.
Chris By going on the grass. It's going to be 3 wide going into the final corner.
Chris By for
Scary
the
Pumpkin
move.
also trying to get his front wing in there. Very cleanly done there from Chris By, but Iyad Ahmed falling behind there, getting a poor exit into the final corner. Scary Pumpkin could have a run here as Iyad Ahmed dives into the pits. What a very questionable thing to do. So late in the race, 2 laps left and he's dived into the pits.
Yes.
He's only 4 lap old soft tires, so he could definitely keep going. Maybe does he have a front wing issue?
I don't think he had.
No, his front wing's fine. Choosing to go on a new set of soft tires, but he has a penalty to serve. Still in the pits, Iyad Ahmed drops a position to Cooldop, who recovers from last place who was in last place on the lap 10, is now in 16th place. But Chris By is now on the attack on False RU, gets the overtake done and dusted, and he is ahead of the Williams, and he is now within 4 seconds of Faizan, but I think Faizan's pretty much in the clear here from Chris By. Faizan will look to get something done on Dylan, starts with D. Yes, only a second separating the both of them. But Faizan is on older tires, so if he has to get close, it has to be on sheer
Scary
raw
Pumpkin going
pace.
going for the overtake on False RU. Remember,
very nicely.
Scary Pumpkin started on pole position and is finding himself now in 14th place.
14th place. Yep, it's not been a good race for Scary Pumpkin. Find himself sort of involved in a lot of incidents. Some of his own making, some of he was simply a passenger to. As False RU goes down the inside.
He just didn't brake.
It just straight up went into the wall. I think False RU may be out of the race. He's not out of the race.
Did he have a puncture?
He's not out of the race, but he's
just
in the
didn't
gravel
brake.
trap or something. False RU is only on 13 lap old hard, so it's definitely not tire wear. I think he just locked up or something.
I'm
I
not
don't know.
exactly sure.
It just straight up looked like he didn't even
He
brake.
he just did a Daniel Ricciardo in Baku 2019, going straight into the run-off zone, then reversing into Daniel Kvyat. I remember that incident.
Let's see, what battles? Iyad Ahmed has dropped from 14th place to 17th now, and I think he might drop even further. Yet no one is right on his tail. No one is an AI driver. I think Iyad Ahmed is an AI driver as well. I'm not entirely sure. They're both ghosted out.
I am it's not AI, I think. I don't know.
Walter Butt is going on the hard tires, currently in 19th place. Just a passenger at this point to the rest of the race. But
Ahmed is just driving as a ghost because Casey has lapped him.
Oh, Manila Baby has chosen to pick because of his immense lead onto the soft tires. I think he maybe tried to go for fastest lap. He already has it. But, oh, and one of the Mercedes spins off. Is it Vortex? No, it's not Vortex, it's Faizan. Faizan going very slowly on the back straight. Oh, and I believe Anirudh and Vortex could be involved in a battle here on the last lap. Anirudh is only within a second of Vortex here, less than that actually, 7/10 separate the Toro Rosso and the Mercedes going into the last lap. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching, this is what you should be watching right now. This is the battle going into the last lap between Anirudh and Vortex. Vortex going very defensive. Anirudh will have DRS going into turn 1, but he won't choose to overtake into turn 1. He'll just choose to be safe into turn 1. Very aggressive defense there from Vortex going into the final lap. Obviously, Maranello Baby is our race winner today. It's pretty much confirmed at this point, but second place is still up for grabs. Third place is not up for grabs, unfortunately, because KC is considerably behind the other two. But Anirudh will look to get the overtake done here on Vortex, going onto the back straight very soon, heading into Sector 2 now. Going into the fast left right.
Anirudh will be looking into overtaking onto the back straight, as he will have the biggest chance. Now it's very important to have a great exit. As War Vortex makes a mistake and Anirudh is already able to overtake.
Vortex makes a mistake, runs wide, and that should be done and dusted.
Is this War Vortex's strategy? Is this War Vortex's strategy to be able to be behind him on the back straight?
He will have DRS going into the back straight. Anirudh will have to go full ERS, full fuel, and full defensive, and Vortex will have to go full commitment as he opens up his DRS here. But I do think he's too far behind. Yes. He may not have enough. Will he attempt a dive bomb going into the final hairpin? He will! They both clash! And Vortex, they do make it out safe, but KC is too far back to benefit from this battle. But
still going for it!
Final lap. Vortex still going for it into the final corner. A hectic race finish. But Anirudh finishes ahead of Vortex in the final classifications. What a quick adrenaline surge there for both those drivers in the last lap. Vortex really sending it on that last couple of corners, really determined to make up that position from Anirudh. Maybe he felt like he was robbed of that win, primarily due to his own mistake. But IRC Freeman serving a 5-second penalty, so Casey will finish in 4th position here.
Streeter also very close to Melting Ace. Melting Ace might not have the best exit out of the corner on the back straight, but it looks like Streeter is too far away. He will not get DRS as he was not close enough. Nice try.
Maybe he might get DRS going into the second DRS straight leading out of the hairpin. Maybe he may have a chance here if Melting Ace makes any mistakes, which I don't think he did. But I think no, he will not get anything there. And that is the finishing order for the top 10, I think. Melting Ace and Streeter finish, and Streeter finishes ahead of Melting Ace due to penalties. Melting Ace finishes in 10th position. Let's see if Chris Bai can finish in 11th and maybe due to penalties push Melting Ace down even further if he does have penalties. But Chris Bai, a fairly okay race from him. I think he was involved in a lot of incidents, so credit where credit is due. He did finish respectably for the incidents that he did get involved in. And the Dylan in the Williams finishes 12th, tried to get into the points today, But that will be the end of the race today. A very, very interesting race and very, very interesting on the last lap. Very exciting wheel-to-wheel action there from second and third place. And Anirudh very, very respectably gets second position. But of course, it was inevitable, being 9 seconds ahead, almost 10 seconds ahead on much faster tires.
It was going to be Maranello Baby's race right after he took the lead. He is probably our most consistent driver, the one with the best race pace, and well, clearly the one who's leading the championship. He is the Hamilton of this particular group.
Exactly. We will be seeing more from him, definitely.
This was also a good race for McLaren, who pick up a 6th and an 8th, getting important points in the Constructors' Championship. Obviously, it's not as glamorous as the Drivers' Championship, but still something to keep in mind. The Renault of Ninja Zero finishes in 7th after starting 18th. We're having a lot of host-migration happening here. I believe Freeman has left the session. Yes, the host is being migrated, but we have another 30 seconds here to talk about the final standings. I think the biggest disappointments today will be Scary Pumpkin and Faizan. Both of them and no one. IRC General Pepe. All three of them not able to capitalize from good positions. All three of them getting involved in incidents. Faizan and Scary Pumpkin especially. Just straight up not being able to maintain good race pace, keeping it clean, keeping it calm, and keeping a cool head. Just not able to translate the qualifying performance into a race performance. And Scary Pumpkin found himself in 13th place.
Ahmed as well. Ahmed started in 5th place and ended up 15th or 14th. Also not the best race. There will definitely be a lot of work for the stewards, as there were multiple incidents in this race. But I feel it was less hectic compared to Canada. I feel like the race was much cleaner, especially the start was very clean. Very good to see these drivers also improving in their racecraft, obviously.
Obviously, we'll have the updated standings ready for you by the time the practice session for our next race rolls by, and our next race is probably going to be at, let me check our race schedule here. Season info. Our next race will be at Brazil. We go to Interlagos, a very difficult track, one that seemed simple on paper, but a lot of off-camber sections, a lot of fast sections. That back straight leading onto the pit straight is a huge DRS sucking vacuum cleaner that literally brings cars within DRS range very, very easily. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of low aero and high aero setups that we may see from our drivers. But Walter, hope you had a good race. I definitely had a good race. I was very enjoyable.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully my bot can do better in the next races.
Hopefully Walter Bot OP does better than his 18th place finish that he obtained in this race. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. Thank you guys very much for watching. This is 8 Cylinders signing off. Walter, any final comments?
Not really. I will be looking forward to the next race with you. And
all right.
See you, everyone.
Goodbye.